What's up, y'all? Malcolm Breed here from How to Barbecue Right. When you're in the Chattanooga area and you're looking for barbecue supplies, you got to check out my buddy Steve's Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply. And Steve and his staff have all your outdoor grilling, smoking, live fire cooking supplies. You can find my Killer Hog stuff there, plus a ton of other cool stuff. So y'all stop in and see Steve. Tell him Malcolm sent you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
All right, welcome to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Catch-Up Show. I'm Steve, your host tonight. We're brought to you by Continental Tires. That's right. Tonight's show brought to you by Continental Tires. Pete is packing for a hunting trip that he's getting ready to go on. He's going to go kill unarmed animals up in Michigan. So good luck to you, Pete, and I wish you all the success. And I hope you bring me back something that you've killed that we can incorporate into some chili, because chili season is right around the corner. But you know what else is right around the corner? 16 days. Are you ready? Are you ready for Thanksgiving? Only 16 days to get ready. So if you're not ready, you better start planning. It's going to be here. You need to be, start buying the stuff, looking at turkeys maybe, checking out the brines, checking out maybe you want to get a new table, maybe new tables and chairs, stuff like that. Everybody, there's this guy on the internet, on YouTube. His YouTube channel is Fork and Embers. His name is Joe Stanfield. I don't know if you've seen him or not. If you have not seen him, write this down. Fork and Embers, Joe Stanfield. He is hilarious. He's got a good channel. The things that he talks about in there, it's all barbecue. He does a lot of demonstrations. He cooks on a Weber Smoky Mountain, and he's got an old country pit offset that he uses, and that's the only thing he uses. And he's an anti-pellet guy, and he is so funny. And his man, don't want to watch it in front of too many people. He gets a little salty, but it's the way it is nowadays. It's just the way it is. But he drops these funny things in, like he says in one time, he goes, if you're in charge of the turkey and you have to cook it and get it ready, your family is not coming to give thanks. Your family is coming to judge. So just remember that. That's up to judge. According to Joe Stanfield, your family is coming over not to give thanks, but to judge your turkey. So put on your apron and get your A game going. Tonight we've got Dr. Robert F. Moss is with us tonight, coming back after he was a week off last week. And we're going to talk a little bit about the past Michelin star ceremony that Robert was invited to. And he's going to give us all the details, sort of like an Entertainment Tonight report of the Michelin star. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we've also got, we'll be talking about, let's see. What else? We'll be talking about some brining. I brought some brining samples I'm going to share with you. Of course, we'll be doing your food pictures. I forgot to do them last Tuesday night, but we're going to get to them this Tuesday. But first, we want to tell everybody what we learned this weekend in football. Let me find my kicker here. Where's my kicker? Here it is.
What Steve learned this weekend.
I'll tell you what I learned this weekend. LSU fired their coach a couple of weeks ago, Brian Kelly. His buyout was $55 million. Since they have fired him about 3 weeks ago, they have made an offer to him to try to settle for one lump sum of $25 million. He turned that down. So they came back with another offer of $30 million, and he turned that down, telling them that they owed him $55 million. Well, now they've come back and they've said, when we fired you, we really didn't fire you. But now we're going to fire you, and we're going to fire you with cause. And what that means is when you fire somebody with cause, I mean, it's like when Tennessee fired Jeremy Pruitt with cause. They didn't have to pay him his buyout. So here you go, LSU. You hired this guy to come in and save your program. 70% winning rate, whether you like Brian Kelly or not, he won 70% of the games he coached at LSU. Now you're running him off like that, and now you don't want to pay him what you owe him. I hope every coach in the nation focuses their attention on LSU in the way they are treating this guy after they drug his name through the mud. It got so bad, they fired the athletic director, and it's the governor now who's running the football program at LSU, the governor of Louisiana. So good luck to you on that. Brian Kelly's going to get his $55 million, and I hope LSU ends up with the coach from the Church Point High School down there. And I hope every coach is watching LSU, because if they treat Brian Kelly this way, let me tell you something. In 3 years, when you're unsuccessful because you can't win an SEC championship or national championship, is for whatever reason they expect to win, they're going to treat you the same way. And then we also learned this week that the Giants fired their head football coach in New York in the NFL. So what does that mean? Well, that means there's another job left open for Lane Kiffin to go to. But I'm going to tell you this time, that might be the job that he bolts Ole Miss. If he's going to bolt Ole Miss, he may go to New York. And the reason is, we all know that Lane Kiffin likes what? He likes the spotlight. And is there a bigger spotlight in this country than New York? I don't think so. That might be the job that entices him to leave the cozy confines of Oxford and head up to the Big Apple. And just because we know one thing also, who's the quarterback of the Giants, the starting quarterback, he's hurt right now, but Jackson Dart, who played for him at Ole Miss. So don't be surprised if you see Lane Kiffin heading north to the Big Apple to coach the New York Giants. We're going to be right back with Robert T. Moss right after this short break, so stay with us.
Hey, have you got a hot rod? How about a luxury car? How about one of these? How about a weed eater? How about a leaf blower? How about a Ford tractor? You need this non-ethanol fuel available at Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa, where everybody gets their non-ethanol fuel right there at Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. Great prices on tires, too. Come to Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa.
Hey, welcome back to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Ketchup Show with Dr. Robert F. Moss, as he appears magically right after the ad. What's up, Robert?
Magic. Hey, not much. It's going well.
I've got something I want to share with you, and this is a I don't want to say, I guess tribute would be the best word to the Robert F. Moss newsletter. You can go to robertfmoss.com and you can click on and subscribe to Robert's new newsletter that comes out, twice a week now, Robert?
Yeah, but there's no specific schedule, but I've sort of gotten into a little rhythm now where it's coming out twice a week. I'm used to doing the barbecue stuff, the old Q sheet on Mondays.
Yeah.
And then I'll do something else midway through the week, like Thursday or so.
Before I share this, I want to let you know that this is the book, one of the books Robert wrote, Barbecue, The History of an American Institution. If you like history, the history of barbecue, especially like I do, that book is fantastic. As a matter of fact, it was 5 years ago. Let's see, that's the wrong one right here. It was 5 years ago. Let me just show everybody this, Robert, if you don't care. It was 5 years ago. Look at that right there. Look at that. Those two young guys 5 years ago that Robert Moss appeared with me on my show. I believe it was on Wednesday nights back then. So we have been acquaintances for a very long time. Yep. And Robert is always nice to give his time to us. And I appreciate that. Let me show you what I got here real quick, everybody, before we start talking about it. Does that look familiar, Robert?
That sure does. I have one of those myself.
That's where I got the idea. That is a barbecue. What would you call that? A print painting.
It's a print of a barbecue map created by Joseph Veazey. It's poster sized, so it's
Yeah, it's
you know,
huge.
ideal for framing and putting on the wall.
And Robert put that in his newsletter. You got one for free, I assume.
Yeah,
And,
Joe sent me one.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did actually draw upon a lot of the stuff in my book to his
Oh, did he?
material. So he sort of
Oh,
sent me
yeah.
one.
Well, exactly.
thank you
Yeah,
for that.
we had to.
They didn't have to, but it was very nice they did because it's an awesome.
Well, it's the best one out
it-
there, Robert.
yeah, it's an awesome map.
I'm not just saying that because you're a guest.
Well, no, and I've seen a ton of these kind of maps or little novelty things where someone puts, stuff on a map, little pictures and things, and usually they're sort of okay, but they aren't very deep. This one is deep, and like I'll go look at it, and every time I look at it, I pick out something new. There's a little detail over here, a little detail over here, and it's always really interesting. Like you go down to Florida, there's Ted Peters smoked fish and smoked mullet, and
Yeah.
down there in Florida.
You've
I didn't
probably
notice
been to
that.
most of these places.
Yeah. Well, I've been to a lot of them, not all of them. There's some that I'm not sure how he managed to dredge them up, but there's some good stuff on there that I've added to my list based upon looking at it. So he sort of does. Yeah, he has like little pictures of all the restaurants and sort of captures really what they look like, especially sort of these iconic buildings and things. And he also will do like sort of a signature plate in each region, like what the classic Texas or South Carolina or Florida plates may look like, and dishes like I say, smoked mullet, pit beef up in Baltimore, and barbecue spaghetti in Memphis. All these really interesting regional dishes. So there's always something to look at. You can look at that thing every time I go back to it. I see something new.
I love barbecue spaghetti, by the way.
I do actually. Well, and particularly
love
really
it. I
good
love
barbecue spaghetti.
I love it. We made it at the store one time. It was
Yeah, it is. It's
just
you wouldn't think it'd be good, but boy, is it!
it is
Surprisingly delicious.
it's not that much different than just spaghetti.
Well, I
but
think it depends on people make it different ways, but in Memphis they tend to. It's not just like they don't just put barbecue meat inside spaghetti sauce. They're really or they're not just doing like barbecue sauce on spaghetti. They're some of the best ones. They'll actually cook it in the pit. It becomes it'll slow simmer. It's a mix of like some of the barbecue sauce and tomato and all the pork and stuff, and
picks up a little flavor.
yeah, it's
Hey,
really, really good.
Hey, real quick, I want to do a big shout out to Allie Rowden. Allie came in the store today. She is the Michelin rep, Robert, and she is the same age as my daughter Emma, and just a lovely young lady. And she filled us in on all the Continental tire spiffs that are going on. I wanted to give a shout out to Allie before it got too late in the show. I appreciate it. I was going to do that before I introduced you, but I forgot. But that's okay. That's the way we do things here at this show. We are all over the board. Let's talk a little bit about the Michelin Star Gala.
Yeah.
You attended?
I did. It's hard. Gosh, it's such a whirlwind. I had lots of others there. Also, I had a very busy week. I just got off of Holy Smokes as well. Holy Smokes Festival was this weekend in Charleston. So it was just a week ago. Actually, a week and a day. Monday night last week, up in Greenville, South Carolina. They invited me up, so I drove up to Greenville and went to the big ceremony at the Peace Center right downtown on Main Street, where, in theory, at least, they were going to be unveiling all the winners of the stars and the everybody who was included in the new Michelin Guide American South. And they did unveil it, but we may talk about this at some point, but there's a little bit of a anticlimactic moment, and the results got revealed ahead of time.
Let's start with that. What was up with that? Because when I did I don't you didn't watch it. I did a simulcast
Okay. Yeah.
of the it was beamed on YouTube, and I did a simulcast where I just commented on it about the Chattanooga angle, and right before I went on the air, Lyric Lewin, the food writer at the Chattanooga Times Free Press, sent me an email. She goes, "I thought you'd be interested in this," and she had all the winners in Chattanooga that had been leaked to her, and I thought, well, that's strange. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I just thought, well, what was up with that? I mean, I guess if she knew, everybody at the gala knew then.
Well, what happened was, so I was driving up to Greenville, heading up I-26 at about 75 miles an hour, and at some point, peeked at my phone and happened to see that there is a message saying the list is out. This is probably about 1 o'clock or something. I was like, how can the results be out? The ceremony hasn't happened yet. It's coming up. So I pulled over because we can't really surf the internet while driving down the interstate, and pulled it up. And sure enough, what happened was somebody, and Michelin has said nothing about this to explain anything about it or apologize or anything else, but somebody posted a press release on the Michelin website and posted it out to the PR wires in the morning, mid morning on Monday. And it announced every single star winner and everything else. And it was written in the past tense. So it was like Dateline Greenville, Michelin tonight announced in past tense who the winners were. So clearly it was a mistake that it was released so early. It wasn't a leak so much as I think it's just a release. I have a theory. If you look at it on the PR Wire news, the news sites, it posted at 9:30. And the ceremony began at 7:15. It was slated to wrap up about 8:30, 8:45.
Right.
So I'm thinking somebody was supposed to post this thing. They put it in their CMS or whatever and set it for 9:30, but got AM instead of PM.
Yeah.
And at 9:30 AM rolled around and it went out. And then I don't know who picked it up first, but somebody found it. And then once one news outlet found it, I think I saw it first on Axios Charlotte. Somebody found it up there in Charlotte and blasted it out. Then all of a sudden, all the email notifications and everything started going out for all the stories. So yeah, by mid-afternoon, everybody, at least everybody who was heading up for the ceremony, had the full list of who was going to win. So it's sort of
she had quotes from the guy that won here in Chattanooga. I mean, she got a hold of him somehow.
Oh, she must have called him up and grabbed him for the ceremony. Because there were several hours. I mean, a lot of people were just sort of hanging out up in Greenville. I went out and grabbed a little lunch because I got up there I'll be out late lunch around 2:33. And there are lots of people who are heading to the ceremony who are out just sort of grabbing lunch. She must have caught them as they were getting ready to, go back and get the monkey suits on or get the ties on to go to the big event. But yeah, for sure, it was it was the surprise was ruined. Though in retrospect, I don't think it was that big a deal because it was still the celebration was the same. I think everybody would still congratulate.
Well, in a way, it may have maybe let a little bit of air out of the room, and that might have been good. Maybe it would have set some people at ease.
Well, people certainly had a chance to absorb the other people because the way it works is Michelin, they have the guide and there are several hundred restaurants in it for the American South. Just being included in the guide means you're a recommended restaurant. You made the cut. You're in the guide. They have the Bib Gourmand designation, which is sort of the higher, one of the higher things. You're not just in the guide, but it's for restaurants that have affordable prices. They're either $1 sign or $2 sign. So basically less than $50 for a meal, but are still considered the top quality for that price range. Yeah. So that's sort of the best economical restaurants. And then you get into the stars, the 1-star, the 2-star. So everybody who got invitations to come to the ceremony, which is the chefs and the restaurateurs, they knew they were going to be in the guide in some form, but they didn't know, in theory, they weren't going to know who got the stars or who, or anything else. And I know on good, I talked to some of the people who worked at the various travel and convention bureaus who underwrote the guide, who paid a lot of money for it. They didn't know either. They were not informed in advance. So they went up to Greenville knowing the same thing as everyone else did. So Michelin was trying to keep it close to their vest. So everyone was going up there. But yeah, you're right. In retrospect, if you're going up there and you're like, did I get a star? Did I get a star? It's probably better to find out at 2:00 in the afternoon rather than right as they're announcing the stars and everybody's getting up and going up on the stage and putting on the chef coats, because you don't get that. You get deflated earlier and you get that chance to recover, I think, and then go celebrate in the right mindset, several hours later.
Probably started there. Probably a bunch of them went to the ceremony drunk because they're all already started celebrating.
I didn't see too much of that though. There was lots of free booze right beforehand. So
that's what I was going to ask right then. Well, tell me, what was the social scene like?
Well,
a lot of drinking beforehand, a lot of eating, or
not beforehand so much. I mean, the ceremony started, I think, at 7:15, and everybody you could enter the Peace Center at 6, And so there's a big auditorium in the center, and then there's a big area around it. And the area around it was just all the lobby type area was just full of like food stands and drinks and a lot. It's all sponsored stuff. So people would pay, various, wine companies, liquor companies, caviar company, various food vendors or food companies would pay to have their booths, and they, hand out free stuff and pass it all around. So everybody got there and was, milling around, getting drinks, getting food, but also talking a lot, because a lot of the thing interesting about food and beverage folks is that they tend to be working all the time. And when they get together,
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that. What was it like? Because these guys are, they're notorious 7-day-a-week people.
Yep. Well, the ceremony is not on Monday for an accident. That is the day that most restaurants are going to be closed.
Right.
And if the ones that are open, it's their slow night. So the chef and the owner.
But even when they're closed, they're usually working on stock.
Yeah, even then. But if they're going to do something, and I have lots of friends in food and beverage, you want to do it usually Monday and Tuesday is the time to do it. So I did it on Monday. So everybody could come up. I think, if you're established enough to have, to be, eligible for or considered for the guide and everything else, you probably have a pretty good team that you can leave the restaurant, in their hands for a day. So everybody's sort of off work. They're relaxed. They're mingling with their friends. They're going to talk a shop. They're talking insider stuff. And that's always fun. I love hanging out. I learn an awful lot every time I hang out with a bunch of food and beverage people on a Monday night.
Well, it sounds like you could go to this event space and eat and drink and party a little bit on the outskirts, and then go right into the auditorium.
Yeah, that's what the idea was, that you could, you had about an hour for the cocktail hour. Everybody sort of, mingled, chatted, you caught up, a lot of hugging, a lot of picture taking, all that kind of stuff. And then you went to the ceremony, which, lasted about an hour and a half. And then everybody at that point just sort of dispersed out into the streets of Greenville and went to all the after parties. So all the restaurants up and down Main Street, they were hosting after parties. There was usually, one restaurant was doing it, like there's a South Carolina after party in one restaurant, North Carolina, Georgia, and another one. But you could go to whichever ones you want, as long as you had your the armband from the ceremony. So everyone was bouncing around and doing all that kind of stuff, and that was actually the more fun. The food at the sort of cocktail hour beforehand was fine, but it wasn't, it was nothing spectacular. The restaurants really sort of, because they're cooking for fellow chefs and fellow F&B people, so they really just put on the dog and really kicked it out. And boy, I had some good food. I had some good beverages, and I was home across the street, at least in my hotel, before midnight. But I can only imagine that most of those guys went on long into the night.
Well, it's a big deal. What's the dress code? What's the dress code like at a place like that?
Oh, well, it's cocktail attire for the ceremony, which these days is a little bit interesting, but definitely coat and tie. I just wore a dark suit and a tie.
Any tuxedos there?
I did not really see any tuxedos these day and age. The cocktail is generally just a nice suit, is at the top end. People, of course, with chefs and those kind of folks, there's various interpretations. So you saw a lot of different kind of things, a lot of different, some very formal, just black suit with maybe a, conservative color tie, but then you saw a lot of other colors and patterns and other things. So really, interesting jackets on the men.
Well, there are a lot of little black dresses on all the girls.
Some little black dresses, some like red and very fancy, elaborate dresses, and then some people just, others just were dressing down a little bit. You got like.
I guess we could say this was a fancy night.
It was a fancy night, so everyone was wearing their fanciest. I think just different people have different gradation to what their fanciest attire is. Some were wearing their very best blue jeans. Others, I think, were of course, it's if you're a fine dining restaurant, you probably, a lot of them look like they're wearing the suits they wear on the floor.
Fine dining attire. We went to the only time I've ever been to Ruth Chris restaurant here in Chattanooga, and somebody gave me a $150 gift certificate. We went in there, and I put on a sport coat. My best T-shirt with a sport coat. That's kind of my look. And we went in there and his family comes in and they got on gym shorts and basketball clothes. I
Yeah.
thought,
And
wow.
this
Wow,
day and
it's-
age,
it's
it
changed.
is, yeah, it is all over the place. My wife always laughing at her because she, we go out to a restaurant. She's always like, what is it? Fancy? Do I need to dress up? I'm like, it's Charleston in 2025. You can wear,
Yeah.
you'll be fine in your nicest dress, or you could just wear flip flops and shorts and
Yeah, whatever goes with your Birkenstock.
yeah,
baby.
you'll be fine. Now I actually though I do like to dress up to go out. Even I rarely put on the full suit and tie, but I do like to put on a sports coat and slacks and a nice shirt, just because it makes the night fun to sort of dress up a little bit.
Absolutely, it
Yeah. I
does.
don't want to be. I don't have a tuxedo or anything, but I do like to at least
Well, I
spend
think
a-
it shows. I think it shows respect.
it's
I think
respect.
it shows respect to the establishment.
It makes you feel a little special too when you're sitting there. It's like it's a
Mhm.
big night out, It's
all about the
something
feel,
you're
baby.
prepared. I didn't just roll in there and order chicken wings,
Exactly.
making a big
right.
deal
Good-
of
well,
it.
good for you, Rob. I'm glad you got to go. I thought the production was pretty. I thought it was pretty good as far as YouTube quality. You can't see it's not like network coverage, but I thought it was.
It was pretty slick.
Pretty well done.
I will say, yeah. And it being in the auditorium, they had the giant screen, behind the stage,
Yeah.
and they had all the lights and everything else. That two big teleprompters that the presenters were using, so that they really seemed very, most of them at least seemed pretty natural, and then their delivery and all that. So it was a well produced show, and I've done a few big stage events like that, enough to just know all the work that goes on behind the scenes and everything. So it was definitely a big production company and big light and sound crew that they had out there for that.
Who was the girl that was the MC?
I can't remember her name now,
She
but
did a good job.
yeah, she's
She was
really did a
good.
good job. She's a television presenter. She's on I can't remember which network she's on, but she does a lot of TV presentations. So they got somebody who's a TV pro to come out and be the MC.
I thought they could have done without the president of Michelin North America.
Yes. Well, but guess who's writing the check, right? So they always have to come out. And this
They should have gone over to Smitty's Tire Barn
Yeah.
over in Charleston and got the owner and let him do the
Yeah, they
let him
had
do
the
Michelin.
Cisco, like all
Michelin stick.
the underwriting sponsors had to get their big wigs out, like the whatever regional sales director of Cisco was there doing his 2 minutes. But that's who's paying for all those lights and the big
Oh, I know. I just I know it's a play for pay game, and we've spoken about that back in the spring. But I think I like it. I think it's a great thing for. I tell you, it's a great thing for Chattanooga. The lead up didn't have a lot of buzz here in our town,
Yep.
but when the awards got issued, it sure changed. It didn't last weeks and weeks, but it lasted a good 3 days. Hey, did you hear? Did you know that? That. Oh, I know that guy. I've been to all those restaurants. He owns all three. Eric Neal and his wife are the ones that won it for the Little Coyote restaurant
Mhm.
here in Chattanooga, and he's got two other restaurants that were on the. They didn't get Bib Gourmand, but they got the recommendation, and then we got another one here that they got it too, the Roseman or something like that. But I think it's great for Chattanooga. Chattanooga is. It's a food destination. I think in the South, it's all we do in Chattanooga is that's our hobbies are going out to eat. Every time a restaurant opens, it's packed. They can open a Cane's chicken place and it backs up traffic for 45 days over in Hickson. So I think it's a good thing. What do you think?
I think ultimately, anytime I will quibble, and I wrote little responses of the living or reflections of living, et cetera, about it. So I will quibble with things and and make my own points. But ultimately, I do think it's the net positive. Thoroughly glad I went. Again, the most fun is just hanging out with all the chefs and the restaurant owners and all the associated people, because it's a good crowd. I think anytime you get those folks together to have a big celebration and a party to celebrate each other, that's sort of what I think grew on me. You get the slick presentations, you got the big screen and all that, but then when they started announcing the stars, what they would do if you missed the ceremony is the chefs would ask the chef for each restaurant to come up and then take off whatever jacket they had worn for the evening, and they would put on the white jacket which had the Michelin star on it and the logo and stuff. And so one by one they were sort of coming up to the stage, but they didn't go sit back down. But the great thing was they let them up on the stage, and so you had one and another, and then they would hug and greet each other as they got up there. And that was actually the great part. You realize that just anything that gets all these colleagues together is a chance to share and celebrate with each other is a net positive. In fact, it was funny, the hostess couldn't get them off the stage. They were running out of time, and all the chefs are hugging and slapping backs and catching up and saying, "Hey, how's it going?
Go ahead, I'll stay here."
They're trying to get them back to the seats. But
what now this is a annual thing, correct?
It will be, yeah. Like Texas just a week or two ago did theirs in Houston for the second edition of the Texas Guide. So each year when they bring out the next version of the guide, because they do one each year, they'll have another ceremony, because they'll they'll award stars to a new crop, or new people will make it. So it'll be a different it will be sort of like, will you keep your star or not? Might anybody get bumped up to 2 stars, and who might make it into the guide who wasn't in it last time. So yeah, it will be an annual thing. I don't know if it will always be in Greenville. I don't know that the Texas was in Houston the first time, so they'll probably move it around a little bit to try to get a little attention in each city. But it will be an annual thing, at least for 3 years. Because
Chattanooga would be a great venue for that.
Yeah, that would be.
The Tivoli is the perfect size for that.
Yeah. People would love to come there too. I mean, it's a great city to visit, especially if you've not been there, and it gives you an excuse to, hit the road and go someplace you might not have been before.
And Chattanooga's so central.
Yeah, it is really right in the middle of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because this covers from New Orleans, up to the Carolinas, down to Atlanta. So that'd be a pretty central spot for most everybody.
As you watched the restaurants being announced, how many of them have you been to, the star restaurants?
A good number, all the Charleston ones, which is sort of my beat.
Yeah.
A few others, but but less than half, I'd say. So I've been to a lot of them, but not all of them.
Robert, is a restaurant like that? I've never been to one. Like I said, I guess my measuring stick is the Ruth Chris restaurant here in Chattanooga, and it is certainly not stuffy whatsoever. I mean, kids coming out of the pool house, sitting down next to you with wet bathing suits on. Are most of these places, are they stuffy? Are they
no?
And are they overly fun?
I don't want to talk about any one particular restaurant, pro or con, because all 3 of the Charleston ones I really like a lot. They're very different, but none of them are what I would consider like super high-end fine dining, super formal. Like Vern's here in Charleston's it's husband and wife family restaurant. It's in an old what used to be an old corner grocery store down in the old neighborhoods of Charleston. So it's very the setting is very it's nice, and it's sort of elegant, but small tables, small rooms, sort of crammed together. It's really, Michelin does to say though that their criteria is all about the food served, not about the service or the anything else about the atmosphere. It's all really about just the quality of the food. So you get a lot of variance. One of the other ones from Charleston is Malagon, which is a pure classic sort of Spanish tapas bar. So you're very likely to go to Malagon and sit at a counter and just be served by somebody behind the counter. So it's not super fancy in service. It's just the food is really, really, really good. So yeah, it's not, 20 years ago might have been very different. You would have had those big restaurants, the white tablecloths and the battalion of waiters who were, delivering one thing after another, and three different waiters for each table. But that definitely is not the mode these days. These days it's much more, I say casual fine dining, maybe the right term. It's nice, but it's not super fancy. And I think you can wear a pair of jeans and
Yeah.
just don't wear flip flops and ripped up shorts. But I think anything else would probably be fine in terms of attire.
Well, I'm
Most
going
of
to
the
make it
places.
a point to get down to that Coyote restaurant here in town. I've never been to it, but I'm going to make it a point to get down. They serve barbecue. It's a barbecue. One of their specialties is barbecue.
Oh, do they? I thought it was a Mexican restaurant. I didn't know they had barbecue.
No,
as
it's
well.
one of them. No, the Little Coyote is. They have. I believe. I'm pretty sure they have barbecue. I don't think that's their main deal, but I believe it's. I think it's a big part of their menu.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the bistro and the Main Street Meats is the other one. I've never been to any of them, but I've got friends that go and they say they're deserving. I put a little thing out on Facebook. We were talking about, I always like to grab you when we get a chance to do history. Funniest historical presidential Thanksgiving, 1909. President Taft served possum at the White House Thanksgiving dinner. You and I spoke about that. I think we spoke about that 5 years ago. But tonight, let's talk a little bit about banana pudding.
Okay.
You had that in your last newsletter at robertfmoss.com. Folks, go to this website and read Robert's. He's got articles. He's the special barbecue editor, contributing editor to Southern Living magazine, which here in the South is only second to the Bible as far as favorite books here in our homes. Everybody's got a subscription to Southern Living. It's one of the few magazines left that thrive. Let's talk a little bit about banana pudding. How did it? When did it become the favorite, especially here in the South, the favorite side dish of barbecue?
Yeah, that's what's in the latest newsletter. So I'll plug it again. Go to robertfmoss.com if you want to, find a link. It's all free. So you can go back and read the banana pudding article or anything else. But if you sign up for a subscription, it will show up in your email. You only have to go look for it. So a while back, like 2015, I wrote an article for Serious Eats, basically digging into the history of banana pudding. Like where did banana pudding come from in the first place? And there's a really interesting history there, independent of barbecue. And so I really dug into that. And I think I probably wrote the definitive history of banana pudding, which is pretty small, pretty big fish in a pretty small pond. But I was pretty interested, pretty happy with the way that turned out. But I left it with an unanswered question, which is, it's okay. Now, it is the classic, most popular American barbecue dessert. You go to barbecue restaurants anywhere, in South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, all the way out in California, there's going to be banana pudding as a dessert. And I was like, so how did that come to be? How did it get so tied in? And I just sort of assumed it was like a lot of things where, right before World War II, when restaurants were developing, people sort of settled on what the barbecue menus are going to be. And that's when all the side dishes started getting adopted. I assumed it was that old, but it really is not. It's really within my lifetime that banana pudding became very tightly associated with barbecue restaurants. So like a lot of things, banana pudding was this fancy food, if you will, that was introduced in the late 19th century as bananas became available. Up until 1880s, bananas were rare and very, very expensive.
I was going to say, when did they start importing bananas to the United States?
It was after the Civil War. All the banana plantations down in Central America, sort of, all the banana republics started, being developed and set up. And then you had steamships that could deliver them to the United States quickly. Mm-hmm. And you had trains that could take them from the port. And New Orleans was the biggest banana port. And they would take them straight up into Tennessee. And distribute them everywhere. And all of a sudden, bananas went from this very, very expensive luxury that you buy at some fancy fruit imported shop to just something you would get everywhere for, whatever they are now, a pound, literally under 60 cents a pound or whatever it is.
I thought like 39 cents.
Yeah, or even cheaper. I mean, it's like so inexpensive now.
It's they almost give them to you when you walk in the door.
So it went from being this thing that you might buy and put in a little special tray on your dining room table, a fancy dinner, to just everything every day. Everybody had bananas. You could just buy them. And that's when you started seeing banana pudding and these other ingredients or other recipes with lots of different types of banana desserts coming up. But banana pudding was sort of a variation of English trifle, is sort of whipped cream and custard and bananas, or meringue. And it really, when banana pudding sort of hit the big time in America, was when cooks started making with vanilla wafers. So you could go buy boxes of commercial vanilla wafers instead of having to use sponge cake or ladyfingers or something you would bake yourself. And that's when it became much more of a modern convenience dessert. Really took off before World War II, but you would never find it in a barbecue restaurant. In fact, I tried hard. I could not find. I found a few examples there in the story, but they're really outliers. It really wasn't until my lifetime, so in the 1970s, that it happened in the Piedmont, North Carolina. Piedmont, North Carolina barbecue restaurants started serving banana pudding for dessert. And it sort of took off, and it spread all over the Piedmont to the point where within about 10, 15 years, Bob Garner wrote a great book called North Carolina Barbecue Flavored by Time in the 1990s, would say definitively this is the essential dish found in every North Carolina barbecue joint. But you couldn't find them in Texas or anywhere else. It wasn't until really the turn of the 20th century, or 21st century, so 2000, so not that long ago, that Texas barbecue joints really started picking up on it. And it really happened in in that sort of barbecue revival that happened. If you think about Aaron Franklin and all the craft barbecue guys down in Texas, sort of when they swept in and started sort of doing this revitalization of barbecue, they adopted banana pudding and brought it in. My theory is that it's because banana pudding had long been associated with the South and sort of down home gatherings and things like that. And so they're creating these barbecue joints, and they're trying to look back and cook on wood and sort of look back to the past. So they went and they grabbed the desserts they remember from their childhood, but not necessarily from barbecue restaurants, from family gatherings and things like that, and started serving them. And one thing led to another. And now basically, if you're running a barbecue restaurant these days and you don't have banana pudding, people are going to come up and say, "Where's the banana pudding?"
It's they judge the pork and the banana pudding, and those seem to be the kind of the bookends to what defines a restaurant. The barbecue's okay, but the banana pudding was fantastic.
Yeah, banana pudding is awesome.
And here in Chattanooga, if it's they'll order banana pudding with a side of barbecue.
And I will admit though, I think banana pudding is the perfect side dish of barbecue, because you can go eat like an all-you-can-eat South Carolina barbecue buffet and just eat till you're stuffed. But there's always room at the end to get something about that little bowl of banana pudding. There's always room to get that in, and it's such a perfect sort of coat, soothe, and relieve kind of dessert after a big meal. So
I guess the vanilla wafers were the game changer.
Yeah, they really were.
That's the perfect it's the perfect texture, because they get a little wet, they get a little slimy. And boy, they're good. And even banana pudding, even if it's sat in the refrigerator for a couple of days, it's still it gets that oily on the top, but it's still good.
Yeah. It's still good. Yeah,
it's still delicious.
Especially if you get some of the vanilla wafers are up on top, so they're still a little crispy, but they're half soft, half crispy. It's still good.
Give us a little preview of the next Robert F. Moss newsletter.
Oh, I don't even know yet. It's been such a whirlwind week. I'm working on a restaurant review here in Charleston. I don't know if I'll get that done in time to go out this week or not. But it's too long to get into, but it's a very high end restaurant here in Charleston that just opened up. So I'm working on that one. On the barbecue front, I don't know exactly. I did the barbecue map I did banana pudding this last time. I did barbecue map before then. So I got a couple things queued up, if you will. There's a lot of barbecue action happening. So I was at the Holy Smokes Barbecue Festival past weekend on Saturday, talking to a ton of people, interviewing a bunch of pit masters.
How did that go?
It went great. That's
a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It springs. I don't even know how many pit masters it is now, but people from all over the country are coming in, and big names from Texas and from Virginia and from really all over the place.
Was Rodney there?
Rodney was certainly there. Yep. Yeah, got to catch up with Rodney a little bit, and I'll see Rodney next weekend. Because
how nice of a guy is he?
Oh, he's super nice. Yeah, he really. is I'm maybe maybe at some point you get him off by himself and he's mean, but I've never seen it, and I've known him for a long time. But yeah, just what you see on TV and everything else. That's
his
basically
book,
the way he is.
I know. I'm sure you read his book. His book was very forthcoming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The anger he had when he was young, having to work, and I remember the one part where after they graduated, they had to. He couldn't go out because his dad made him be at the restaurant to get the hog on he had to make sure he had the hog on the coals.
Yep.
For the next day, and how that anger just festered and festered and festered.
Yeah,
I thought
he was very. I mean, he had a tough relationship with his dad. It's sort of at the end, they really have falling out toward the end when Rodney started getting famous and opened his own restaurant. His dad that was sort of the final break, and I think
was John Edge at your little swing day?
He was not at this one. John's got a new book out. He's doing a book tour all over the South. So I haven't seen him. I missed him when he came to Charleston.
Yeah, I've got his book. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, he came
I'm
to Charleston.
a big fan of True
busy.
South. I love that. I love his
Yep.
and his show True South is fantastic.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. And I say I've got the food and wine festival here in Charleston is coming up. Food and Wine Classic in Charleston and there's a big barbecue event that Southern Living is sponsoring out at Kiowa. And Rodney Scott is going to cook there. Emerald Lagasse is going to be there. Emerald and EJ both, the two. Speaking of back to that Michelin
the
stars.
only 2 star. They've got 2 stars.
The only 2 stars. So they're going to be out for that. A bunch of other great pit masters. So I'm going to go out and hang out with them. So I have lots of material. I don't know what's going to make it out on Monday.
Well, you do. That's man.
I've got months
that's a
worth
ton
of
of
material.
stuff.
Yeah.
Are you gonna maybe try? Are we interviewing some of these more famous pit masters like Rodney and for your newsletter?
Yeah, I certainly will. I did get a 5 or 6 really good interviews in last weekend at Holy Smokes with the pitmasters there, and so they will come out in various forms. I'm not exactly sure how, because I'm talking to them about a lot of different subjects. It probably won't just be hey Rodney, tell me the story of your life. It's because I've written about Rodney and his story a good bit in the past, but it will have him weighing in on various things that are going on. And
I tell you, when John T. Edge comes to your restaurant and discovers you, buddy,
that's right.
He's your golden ticket. I'm waiting for him to come by the knothole here at the gas station. I'm waiting for him to come by any day and put me on the map. That's all it takes is one visit from John T. Edge, and you're famous.
Certainly, that was the case 10 years ago when SFA was flying high, and John T. really could put you on the map. I don't know who does it these days. Yeah, the media landscape changes so much, but I think being on True South would not be a bad thing for your business.
No, I think he should. I think he'd be a good subject for True South. Just he did it. He did it. He did Charleston this year, I think.
Yeah, he sure did.
True South, yeah. And I think it was because I just watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty good. Of course, I'm so prejudiced. He's just one of my favorites. I got all his books. He had a book signing here in Chattanooga, and I couldn't even get a ticket. I mean, it sold out.
Oh, it was sold out. Yeah,
it sold out in minutes. And thing here in Chattanooga, I'm a big deal, and I couldn't get a ticket. I couldn't even get a ticket. So I was kind of miffed about that they didn't save me a ticket. But maybe someday I'll get to meet him. Maybe you can hook us up. Say next time you're in Ooltewah, John T., go by the gas station and see Steve.
I'll see what I can do. But I said John T.'s so busy right now. I never even see him. He's always got a camera crew driving around somewhere in the South, filming restaurants.
Well, Robert, thank you so much. You're the best. You're the absolute best. You can catch another interview tomorrow on the Barbecue Central show. It's been taped, but that interview will come out tomorrow at just go to YouTube, go to the Barbecue Central show page, like it and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And when it drops, Robert will be one of the people interviewed tomorrow by Greg Rempe.
Yep, that's right. And we talk a little bit more about Michelin. We talked about a bunch of other stuff too. So it was a good conversation.
Well, Robert, thank you so much. We're going to let you go.
All right. Well, thanks,
got a
Steve. I
little
appreciate it.
housekeeping. We'll get you on in a few more months. All right.
Sounds
So
good.
do something really neat that's worth talking about. All right.
I'll do my best.
Thanks, Robert. Robert T. Moss, or yeah, Dr. Robert T. Moss. Go to roberttmoss.com and subscribe to Robert's newsletter. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, if you're into barbecue history, barbecue, it's very interesting. Very interesting. It's not just it's not just the his brisket's great, his pork butt's great, his ribs sucks. It's not that kind of stuff at all. It's really, really good stuff. Okay, we're gonna get to the food here in just a second. I want you to see it's Thanksgiving, man, 16 days. I want you to see some of the things we've got at the store. We have got Lane's. Let's go over here. Lane's, there it is. Ultimate Turkey Kit, $24.95. In it, you get the seasonings, you get the brine, and you get the bag inside the Lane's Ultimate Turkey Kit for only $24.95. Everything you need to brine your turkey is right there. We have also got David Bosca's Bird Booster Brine and Injection. This is unique. After you brine it, it is made. You take the brine and you inject it into your turkey. The very brine that it rests in, you just take it and inject it into the turkey. And you talk about a moist, tasty bird. That's the one you want. If you want the best moist, tasty bird, only $15 from David Bosca. We've also got one of the best sellers there are out there, the Bird Baptism from Matt Pittman, Meat Church. We've got plenty of this year. Again, only $15. That's a big favorite at the store. A lot of people like Bird Baptism from Meat Church, and Matt Pittman puts that out. And Matt's from Chattanooga. He likes to tell everybody he's from Texas, or he lives up that Texas thing. He's from right here in Red Bank. He is. I'm not kidding. Also, we've got plenty of these this year. Ran out last year. We got plenty of these meat bags, brine and storage bags from Butcher Barbecue, and we've got them from Malcolm Reed. Malcolm Reed's brine kit is on the way. I thought it was going to arrive today. It may have gotten there after I left. But if you need a bag to brine your turkey in, we've got plenty of these. $10.99 for 2 from David, $15 for 4 from Malcolm Reed. The handiest things are they're big bags. They're thick, 4 mil. Good stuff. You can put stuff in it. You can put all kinds of stuff, blankets and all that crap you got at your house. We also have, if you don't want to get the kit from Lane's, we have their signature brine as well, $15 for this brine, and it's good. It is real good. We did a couple of little Cornish hens a couple months ago in their brine, and they were so good, so juicy. If you want to test a flavor profile on something and you don't want to buy a whole turkey, if you're getting ready for your family and everything, go buy a little Cornish hen and use that as your test bird. We call them, Pete and I call them practice turkeys. They're fantastic. They're good eating too. You hold your pinky out and all that kind of stuff. Lane's Sweet Tea Brine. This is really unique. This will darken up that turkey a little bit. Sweet tea, people have been brining with sweet tea. Sugars really break down that bird, get the flavors in it. People have been using that for years and years and years. And Lane's has got a good one right there. Their sweet tea brine. And of course, who could have a store without having this? Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right Bird Brine, one of the best-selling brines in the nation. Malcolm Reed's Bird Brine. We've got plenty of it too. And we've got Malcolm's kits on the way. It's going to have brine, it's going to have the seasoning and the bag all in one kit too. So we've got you covered. We are your brining headquarters. When you go to Publix, when you go to Food City and you're looking for brines and they say, we're out, we don't have any, we've got them. We've got enough to go. I promise you. We got enough to go to Christmas for your turkeys and chickens and anything you want to brine. You can get some of this stuff, drop a pork butt in it even. So come see us. buy this stuff. It's like I tell people, it's not a museum. Okay. When you walk into the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply, if you've never been in there, everybody's eyes go, golly, I can't believe this. And I tell people, buy whatever you want. It's not a museum. It's a store. So come and see us. We'd love to see you. All right, let's go. Let's see. We did that. Let's go to the food pictures right here. Let's see. We missed these last week. Let's start with Jason Penley. Jason did a big turkey breast cook. Look at all those turkey breasts right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 2 to a pan on some of them. He did that in his new barbecue headquarters out there at his house. It's huge. I haven't seen it in person yet, but I'm going to get out there one of these days. Jason's a great cook. And, he had these out there. And I don't know what those are. If anybody's watching, any of Jason's buddies, I don't know. I don't know what those are. I don't know if Jason's watching or not. If they are, Jason, punch in there real quick and tell us what they are, because they're pretty. I mean, the color on them is beautiful. But I just don't know what they are. We couldn't figure out when he put them on there. And Rondo said hams. Hams. Okay. All right. Hams. They don't look like hams. They look like some sort of a big gourd. Don't they? Something like gourd fruit. Rondo, were they fresh hams, you think, Rondo, or are they smoked hams? But they're pretty. Whatever they are, Jason, they're pretty. More Jason. There's an up close of his turkey breast right there. Man, I love turkey breast. I wouldn't, if I didn't have to cook a turkey, I wouldn't even fool with a turkey. I'd just do turkey breast. I'll tell you what I'd do. If I didn't have to fool with turkey, I'd do turkey roast. I did one yesterday here on the pit barrel cooker and at the house. Turned out fantastic. Butterball turkey breast roast. Turkey breast roast. They come with a little net around them. Let them thaw out first. You can, it says on the packages, you can go from frozen to the smoker or to the oven. Okay, but I did that. I did that yesterday, and it was okay. That net, they put it in a net, and that's just real hard to get off. Next time I'm going to let it thaw out and take that net off and then cook it and see if that works out better. We cooked a bunch of them last year, and I can't remember if we cut the net off before we cooked them or not. But that's what I'm going to do this year. There's Jason with his fancy cooker there, he's got his turkey breast in there. Let's see. That is Jason. That's taco soup that Jason did. And that looks pretty good. It's a good wintertime dinner. And here's Steve Davidson checking in with one of the most famous things in the world, a Steve Davidson bologna. And of course, Steve can cook other stuff other than bologna. But there you go. There's your food picture. There's your brines. There's all the brines that we have at the store right there. So we'd love to see you come in. Don't forget, we're open Monday through Saturday. We open up at 7:15 in the morning. And so if you're an early bird, if you're an early go-getter, nobody else opening up at 7:15 except me. That the Owl's Nest Barbecue store is open at 7:15. Through the week, Monday through Friday, is open until 5. On Saturdays, we're there until 3. And, of course, on Saturdays, we do our hot dogs, too. Rondo says I'm doing 30 of those turkeys at Thanksgiving. So Rondo always stays busy. And good luck to you, Don Rondo. We did turkeys one time, and I'm not doing it anymore. That is hard work, buddy. Turkeys are hard to cook in batches. It's hard work. Good for you. So come and see us. Again, thanks. Many thanks to Allie Roden, our new Continental rep. She came by today and got us hooked up on some old spiffs that they're doing and things like that. And we're real excited about bringing Continental to the Midnight Oil in Ottawa. We hope everybody will come out and see us. The show tonight was sponsored by Continental Tires. Great tires, great prices. Folks, they've got all kinds of sizes. You just won't believe the coverage that Continental Tires does. Probably better than anybody on this planet, Continental Tires, and the number of tires that they have to fit your car. coverage is just fantastic. We're going to get out of here, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. Pete will be in Michigan, but we'll be here with another special guest, I assure you. And until then, come see me at the store. We'll be there. I'm there until 2:30 every day, and we'd love to see you. And everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you. Thanks to Robert F. Moss. Go to his website, robertfmoss.com, and subscribe to his newsletter. I promise you, Rondell, Brent, you'll be glad that you did. It's very, very interesting. And the best thing is, it's free. We'll see you.